you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the easiest way to make money in Palia by farming. If you are looking for the easiest way to make money in Palia by farming, the answer is tomatoes. So I have tried a few different crops, a few different ways to do this, and I find this is one of the easiest ways to actually make money by using the one simple crop. Yes, you can go ahead and try to use some other ones and do different layouts and grids, but the reason that I do this is I want something quick, easy, a rinse and repeat type system, and that is why this works so well and gives me enough profit. The main goal of having a tomato farm is to get quality tomato seeds. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. First thing that you want to make sure you do is get your 9x9 soil. So early on, get your profit and invest in the soil from Badru, because that is how you're going to be able to plant as much as you can. That is the most we can have right now, so we want to make sure that we are using all of those soil spaces. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have your worm farm constantly going. Your worm farm is going to give you fertilizer, which helps increase your quality. So make sure this is always going. The worms are always eating and giving you back, one, the worms for farming, but also the fertilizer, which is really what we need here. You're also going to want to make sure you have some seed makers going. So I have 4 seed makers, and I find that to be a good amount. Yes, you can only keep a certain amount of crafters down at once. So what I like to do is rotate out. If I'm not making any planks or if I'm not making ore, then I will put one of those in my storage and then put down the seed maker. So right now I have all 4 seed makers going, and what they're doing is turning my tomatoes back into seeds. So I will typically have 3 of my seed makers going, giving me quality seeds, and usually I'll have 1 that gives me just the regular ones. So let's go ahead and harvest. Something to keep in mind with tomato plants is, 1, they are the most profitable crop that you can get. Part of that reason is that they're going to give you more than 1 tomato if you're lucky. So you can get 1, you can get 2, you can get 3. So that's going to vary on how often I need to replant and which ones I need to replant. Also, which ones I can harvest at once. So this is going to be a big yield. I'm going to show you guys exactly what we get after I collect everything. We'll look at how many we got and how much money we can make from that. So I'm just going to run through, harvest everything that I can. You'll notice some of my tomato plants now will need to be replanted. Part of the other reason that you want to use tomatoes is you want to spend a minimum amount of time on your farm. So this method is really for those that don't want to spend a lot of time here. You don't want to constantly be replanting and tilling your soil. You want to be able to place everything down, manage it, water it when you need to, and collect when you can. So I can see that I do need to replant some tomato here, so I'm going to go ahead and till my soil. And another method you can use for tilling, I'm going to warn you if it makes you dizzy, but you can actually spin your character, and they're more likely to actually hit the soil marks. It works best if you're kind of in a circle, but if you have a lot at once, you can kind of rotate and spin your character. And we have all of those there, so we will go ahead and do some planting and some watering. Before I add any more seeds back into my hands, I want to take a look at what we actually got from that and how much money we can make from it. So here's a good example. All those crops that I planted there gave me 30 of the regular tomatoes plus 7, so 37 of these ones, and 30, 60, 75 quality ones. So now that I have my tomatoes, I could go ahead and sell them as is if I really wanted to. Drag all these over. That would give me about 3,400. But what I actually want to do is turn them into seeds. So as I mentioned, I always have my seed makers working, and this is where I'm actually going to put all those tomato plants. So I'm not going to sell the tomato plants as is. I'm going to want to sell the seeds instead. Part of the reason that I want to do that is because how much they're worth. So if I'm looking at a normal tomato plant, that's going to give me 23. Or I can go ahead and sell some seeds, and that's going to give me 40. I'm going to actually save these tomatoes to put into my seed maker, and instead I'm going to want to sell the seeds. I know what you're thinking. You need seeds to plant, right? But realistically, you can only plant so many seeds, and as you can see there, I only need to plant so many at once, and so many that I need to wait for them to actually rotate, wait for the harvest to rotate. Because that's the nice thing about planting the tomato plants, is that you're kind of rotating things. And then you're going to go ahead and water when you can. step away, come back when it's time to harvest, and it's always on rotation. So you always have tomatoes popping up, you always have your seed makers working, so you're always able to sell something. Now, since we can only have 9 by 9 for our crops and we can only plant so many seeds, we're going to want to sell our excess seeds. So I actually like to keep about 60 seeds on hand, and I will go ahead and sell the rest. So I'm going to sell the 4 here. So I have 30 right there, and I'll sell 8 more. So from those seeds alone, that's 2,280, which really isn't far off from the tomato plants I had earlier, which I'll just turn back into seeds. If I really wanted to, and I find I have a lot of tomato plants, I could just go ahead and sell everything that I got. And from that harvest alone, plus some of those seeds, I'm making 5,681. Now that's just under 6,000 for that yield, but my main goal is really to sell the seeds. So I'm actually going to take some of the seeds that I have out of here, and I'm going to add my tomatoes back into my hopper. Since I do want these going at all times, including overnight, I do want them pretty much as full as I can make them right now. And I am just going to go ahead and grab some of my seeds. So I have more than I need in my hands right now, and I'll go ahead and place those down. So this is where keeping about 60 comes in handy. So although I have 60 on hand, I'm planting about 6 right now. And by the time I need to get more harvest, I'll have more seeds made. So that gives you an idea of how the cycle actually works with the tomatoes. So as I mentioned, I do have the 9 by 9 space by crop, but I also have an upgraded watering can, which I would also suggest just so you are minimizing your time. I do have my crops placed near my water as well, just in case I need to refill. But with the upgraded watering can, we're upgrading 9 at once, and we just need to step forward. As you can see, the goal of the tomato farm is to maximize our profits while minimizing the amount of work that we actually need to do. The tomato farm doesn't incorporate any other crops. We are using the one solely for the purpose of getting quality tomato seeds, which we can sell to make money. If you're looking for a quick, easy, efficient way to make money, I'm telling you tomato seeds is the way to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you out. Be sure you subscribe for future Palia videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Next level.